Greetings everyone, my name is Sai, and I'm willing to bet there are a few things you didn't know about both Bayonettas 1 and 2. Let's play a game with this video. If you learned one new thing, I want you to give this video a like. But if you already knew all 10 facts, I want you to leave a dislike guilt-free. Because if you already knew everything, that means I didn't do my job properly. Also, this video will be spoiling the entire game, so you have been warned. So without further ado, here are 10 things you didn't know about Bayonetta. Number 10. So as it turns out, Bayonetta's creator, Hideki Kamiya, hated the final cover artwork for Bayonetta 2. The original artwork featured a crescent moon in the background instead of a full moon, and the 2 logo was yellow instead of red. Here on screen is a comparison of the original and the finished product. Now I know what you're thinking. Who cares? Well, apparently Kamiya did not agree, as he took to Twitter to properly express his outrage. Mistake number 1. His English Twitter tweeted, quote, "I hate the logo of the Wii U version. Junk." But the Japanese Twitter was even less kind. Quote, "The Bayo 2 package is shit. Who's the damn bastard who changed it?" He was later asked if Nintendo had talked to him before changing the art, to which Kamiya replied no, quote, "They did it without any permission." Number 9. It's hard to make out most of the time, but in cutscenes and concept art, you can see that Bayonetta's watch contains the numbers 14111-219. These numbers represent her birthday on December 19th, 1411, which means that today she would be over 600 years old. Think about that the next time Bayonetta's acting overtly sexy. Imagine what she might look like doing that had she not aged so well. Also of note is that Jean's watch contains the numbers 141216, which would make her birthday January 6th, 1412, just 19 days after Bayonetta's birth. Number 8. Did you know that Jean's pistols are references to the Three Musketeers story? The 4 pistols she has are named after characters from the classic story, and I will probably butcher the pronunciations of these, so please forgive me. They are Dian Tragen, Anthos, Porthos, and Aramis. And tous pour un pour tous are written on the pistols, which translates to the famous catchphrase, all for one and one for all. Number 7. Did you know that prior to the game's release, Nintendo actually did a cross-promotion for Bayonetta 2 with Playboy? Now, as crazy as that is, I'd like to take a moment to draw everyone's attention to the somehow more insane fact that Playboy still exists in the year 2015, when the internet is more than capable of providing sexy pictures. But I digress. Anyway, so Playboy got Pamela Horton to dress up as Bayonetta and do a photo shoot to advertise the game's release. It's just so weird. Nintendo and Playboy are about as far apart subject matter-wise as it's ever possible to get, and yet here they are, hand in hand to sell copies of the game. But oddly enough, that's not the only time Nintendo would operate outside of their usual MO when it comes to Bayonetta's sexy side. Join me in number 6 to see what I mean. Number 6. During the production of the Wii U release of Bayonetta 1 and 2, designer Yong-hee Cho was asked by Hideki Kamiya to create concept art of Bayonetta dressed as various Nintendo characters. When it came time to design the Link costume, he felt like he couldn't do much to change the overall design, because, you know, he was working with Nintendo characters. So, of course, he was very careful to try to make the outfits appeal to both Bayonetta's sense of style, while also not making Nintendo too angry. It is for that reason that he was surprised when, upon showing Nintendo the original concept art for the Link costume, it was Nintendo who suggested to have the design sexied up a bit, to show more of her chest. You know, I consistently find Nintendo's behavior just so bizarre whenever I hear about their involvement with Bayonetta 2. For a company that's so heavily bent on making every franchise it owns appeal to a family-friendly demographic, it's so weird to hear them endorse the Bayonetta franchise as much as they did. That said, while it is weird to be sure, I without question applaud them for doing it, and not forcing Platinum to compromise the design of the game for the sake of the platform of which it was on. Number 5. So number 5 in this case is my prerequisite small but interesting trivia bit, but if my Fallout video taught me anything, it's that this will be by far the most popular trivia bit in the entire video. Anyways, if you hold down the fire gun button outside of combat, you might notice that Bayonetta will write her initials inside hearts with the bullets. As I said, that one's not that big a deal, but I think it's a nice little touch that lends a bit more personality to the character of Bayonetta. Number 4. At the beginning of Chapter 5, Bayonetta and Luca are having their trademark comedic banter, and after threatening to kill Luca, he says that she shouldn't because there are a bunch of girls who would get depressed if they found out he had kicked the bucket. The girls' names that he lists off are Claire, Trish, Sylvia, and Amy, all of which are characters from previous Capcom games. Claire being from Resident Evil, Trish being a character in Devil May Cry, Sylvia from Beautiful Joe, and Amy being short for Amaterasu from Okami. Number 3. Did you know that in the first level of Bayonetta, destroying all the benches on the upper level of the train station will cause the train to take off? Yep, you kick the benches to death, and that in some way causes the train to leave. What kind of backwards parallel dimension does Hideki Kamiya live in where that makes sense? Oops, it looks like I'm all out of ketchup. Guess I'd better go tear the cushions off the couch and turn the sprinklers outside on if I want some to magically appear in my refrigerator. Anyways, doing so allows you access to a broken moon pearl, although since I had already gotten it before recording this, I only get a bullet for angel attack. And nice as those things may be, I am still waiting for a satisfactory explanation, Mr. Kamiya. Number 2. So you know that nonsense gibberish language that the angels and demons use to speak in these games? As it turns out, it's not actually gibberish, but is a language known as... oh hell. Enochian? That, whatever that is, which is a forgotten language said to be the language of angels. So everything in the game, from angelic text, to the pre-boss fight exposition, to Bayonetta's demonic summoning chants, use this language. Now, I don't know if this is obvious or not, but I'm not a native speaker of whatever the heck, so I don't know if it's accurately translated, but either way, it's still pretty darn cool. And the number 1 thing you didn't know about Bayonetta is... So here's a head-scratcher for you. Remember at the very start of the game where Bayonetta's praying over a coffin, and Enzo tells us the guy's name is Eggman? Well, did you know that Eggman in this scene is actually a reference to the character with the same name from Sonic the Hedgehog? Kidding, that's not the actual number 1 spot. I mean, we all know that, right? Apparently not, because the actual number 1 spot is that when writing this scene, Hideki Kamiya just randomly chose the name Eggman, and only later realized that he had accidentally referenced Sonic. And I know what you're thinking. Sigh, that's so obviously a lie. I mean, Bayonetta 1 was published by Sega, the guys who own Sonic the Hedgehog. There is no way that isn't intentional. I think he got some bad information. Well, I thought so too, until I found out this came directly from the mouth of Hideki Kamiya, spoken in a video on the official Platinum website. I'm not even kidding, look.
ここもね、何の気なしにエッグマンっていう言葉を名前を使ったんですけど、まあね、某ゲームで出てくるキャラクターと名前が一緒っていうことを後で知って、まあそれでもね、ファンの方がそれで喜んでくれるならそれでいいのかなと思ってそのままにしたんですけどね。
So either Hideki Kamiya is an awful liar, or that is the biggest coincidence in the history of coincidences. Anyways guys, that was 10 things you didn't know about Bayonetta, and I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to leave a thumbs up if you learned something new, and of course thumbs down if you already knew everything, because if that's the case, then I didn't do my job properly. Also, I've got more 10TYDK videos coming down the pipeline, and I want you all to see them. So how about clicking that nice big red subscribe button for me? I'd really appreciate it. Also of notice, I have a Patreon campaign going, and you can find the link to that in the description below this video. And I would be very, very appreciative of anyone who had the spare change to help me. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.